Hello, my name is Miriam. I'm a family therapist. Welcome to my channel, and here I'm going to talk about disciplining children effectively without punishing them. Now, you may wonder what's the problem with punishing children when they've done something wrong or when they refuse to listen to you. And to answer this, we first need to consider why it is that we punish. Now, sometimes we punish because we ask children to do something and they don't cooperate with us. We warn them and we tell them that if they don't do what we ask, we're going to punish them, and they still ignore us. And so gradually we get more and more upset and we threaten punishment. Sometimes it helps to stop the misbehavior and they go ahead and do what we ask, but at other times they don't. They will say that they don't care and get even more and more upset and everything goes wrong. We then feel helpless. What are we going to do now? Our child is refusing to do what we ask. We've threatened all these big punishments and we don't know what to do next. The other problem is that when we are in this situation and we do feel upset, we tend to give very big punishments. We tend to start with maybe no TV today or no Xbox today, and then we continue nothing for the whole week, and you can't go to football on Friday, and you can't go to this birthday, or maybe you're not going to have your own birthday. The threats become bigger and bigger. And the problem with big threats is that we hesitate to actually put them into practice, because by that time that we are supposed to impose the punishment, the child is usually behaving quite well, and then we know that if we carry it through, we're going to have a big drama. On the other hand, we know that if we don't, we undermine our own discipline, so that's not great. The other thing is that once we've given all these punishments, when the child still misbehaves, we've got nothing to give, and the children feel hopeless. They feel that there's nothing good that's happening in their life and there's no point in trying because they've lost everything already. Other times that we want to punish our children is when we've caught them doing something wrong. So they're not refusing us now, but say you come into your child's bedroom and you figure out that he's drawn on his bedroom wall. We want to punish because we want to stop this behavior from happening in the future. But the problem is that when we do that and child is getting used to being punished, they are going to become more sneaky. They're going to hide their misbehaviors. They're going to refuse to admit their mistake. They will just go, I didn't do it, even when they clearly have done it. And the whole dynamic of punishment sets you against each other. You become more conflicted, and there's an atmosphere of fear. That's not what you really want for your children. Now, we need to remember that our job as parents is to demonstrate to our children that we love them at all times, no matter what they do. But at the same time, our job is to hold the boundaries and the structure around them. So how can we keep both of these elements in place? In some cases, not all cases, you could let the natural consequences of your children's action just happen. In many cases, the world itself has put consequences in place for children doing things wrong. Obviously, it's not true for everything that they do wrong. But for example, homework. A lot of the times, we make our children do their homework because we don't want them to go to school without homework. But a lot of the times, it's actually better for them to not do their homework, go to school without homework, and then need to explain themselves to the teacher or suffer the consequences that the school's going to put in place. So the school may give them detention, they may make them sit down in the break and do their homework. That's okay. If we step out and just let the children experience these consequences, not try to protect them, not writing a note for them, not explaining it to the teacher, none of that, they're going to learn quite a lot from it. Same thing about being late to places. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't help your child with their homework. Of course you can. And also, of course, you can have a routine in your home that makes it easier to do their homework. For example, you do your homework and only then you can have a play or do something that you like. Of course, you can do all that. But ultimately, if you leave the responsibility to your child, even if it's a very young child, and let your child face the consequences of their actions, you don't need to punish. Now, obviously, there are many times when it would be unsafe or unwise to let children experience the consequences of their actions. And in these times, we need to provide our own consequences, and these need to be small, they need to be immediate, and they need to be relevant to the offense. I'm going to give an example that's going to be relevant for 3-year-olds and for teenagers, and that is about children who throw their belongings on the floor, don't have much respect for their belongings, so you can have their shoes in the middle of the hall, their coat on the floor, their books on the floor, their toys on the floor. Now, the natural consequences of that is either somebody's going to trip, and that it's not necessarily them, or it's just that the house is going to be in a mess, but you don't like that. So you need to put your own consequence. A good consequence could be that you pick it up and you take it away, and to get it back, your child needs to do something for you to get it back. Or it could be just that you keep it for a week and they can't have it for a week or for a month or something like that. Now, that is very immediate, it's very relevant, and it's very small, so you're not going to hesitate in imposing it. If you give a big consequence, you're always going to think, is this bad enough for him to not go to this birthday party on Saturday? Is that bad enough to have a curfew? Is that bad enough for him to not join a family trip? Is that bad enough? And usually the answer is going to be, I don't know, maybe not, and then you're going to hesitate. But if you've got a small relevant consequence, it's very, very easy for you to implement it. The items on the floor, you say, are you going to pick it up or shall I? And that's all you need to do. Most of the times, children will just do it. And if they don't, you know what you're doing, so you are still in charge, no matter what your child does. These are just some ideas for you, and you want to think about your own life situation, your own child, and consider, where can I step back and let the natural consequences just happen? Where do I need to put my own consequences, and what would be relevant and good consequences for my child? Again, they need to be immediate and small so that you don't hesitate to impose them. You then discuss it with the other parents or all adults that are in charge. You pre-warn your child and go ahead, do it. So I hope this has been useful for you. Do like, subscribe, enjoy your children. See you next time. I'm going to take a little bit of a holiday and come back in January.